I am so happy that you're here. Today we're going to go over some of these bubblegum beads that I got from Peachy Olive Glitters. They send me a box every month, and this was one of them that happened to be in there. And it actually was, I think, like baby sharks or something, those white ones. But I was like, no, I'm not going to use those, but I am going to use the colors. Because I had done a cup for a guy on TikTok that does the creepy, cringy lyric series. And I had cut these little pieces, these little round pieces out of some clear vinyl, some see-through vinyl that I had, and I've been kind of wanting to do something with them. They've just been kind of sitting there. I didn't use all of them, and so I had just taken like a 2-inch hole punch, like a paper punch, and I just punched them out of there. And so what I wanted to do was use some just basic epoxy, and I put some, I think it was called Echo from Chase Ray. It's just an epoxy additive. It's just a real sparkly epoxy additive. And I wanted to have something, but not something too much. I wanted to have something clear and something sparkly, but I kind of wanted to have a little bit of a backing just for the sense of that see-through leopard spot, you know, that I had. So this is why I did that. So what I did was I just mixed a little bit in the epoxy there, and then I just filled it up, filled the entire top part of that round acrylic piece, and I just took off the little piece off of the top. There was like 2 little plastic pieces on each side. Took off 1 plastic piece, and then I did a little bit of sanding, and then I put this on there. Now, I'm just using UV resin, so I'm going to cure it under my lamp, and then we're good to go. So on the back side, I'm going to take off that other plastic piece and reveal the other side that's clear, that shows the glitter through. And this is where I'm going to put my see-through vinyl that I got. I think this was from Banff. I used it in a tutorial a long time ago, and I just had a little bit of it left over, and so that's why I used them to cut little round circles out of it, and I thought it would work out really cool. But I have been looking at this vinyl, those little circles, for a long time, and I've been thinking, I want to do a keychain, I want to do a keychain. But when I got these beads in, and I got the box for March, and the colors were just so like fun and vibrant, I just knew that all together that this was going to you know, all kind of come together as far as like a cute little keychain, you know, little extra thing that you can add to your customers or give out as a present, or just as a, you know, thinking of you type of situation. So what I did here was I got rid of some of that UV resin that had maybe spilled over the edge, and I was cleaning up the rest of that vinyl that was on the edge and in that hole there. So I was just kind of making sure that we had a clean, you know, clean edges all around. And one thing, because this is a clear, like see-through transparent vinyl, I did not sand that other side, right? So I just took off that plastic and I just stuck the sticker on there. And then what I'm doing here is I'm taking a little bit of UV resin and I am covering that vinyl just to give it a nice shine and a nice protective coat. So just a little bit of that UV resin, I am going to spread it around, make sure that it's evened out on all of the sides, and then I just take my my lighter that I keep in there and just kind of pop any of the little bubbles and just kind of even it out a little bit. It works out really well, better than a heat gun, because it's just such a little piece that you don't want to do too much heat on it. So once that was done, I flipped it over to the other side and I did a little bit of sanding on there just to kind of even it out. And then I'm putting just another final coat of that UV resin on top of that back coat, just to give it that nice shine. And that's just something you can do. You can leave it like that, but it just is, it's just a little bit kind of dull with all that glitter inside of the epoxy. So I always like to kind of sand it down a little bit and then just give it a nice finishing coat of that UV resin on the back side. So some of the videos got deleted and I had to bring them back up into my phone, and so we're kind of going backwards here, but that's okay. I'm gonna come back to the letters here in a minute, but I did just what I'm doing is I'm putting the keychain together. So I will show you how I did these letters here in a minute. But what I did was I got these little pom-pom things off of Amazon, and they were so cute. I really wanted something a lot bigger than the ones that I actually had in I don't know, I got them a long time ago, but they're like these tiny little pom-poms. These, I wanted something big and bold and something really fun. And so basically what I'm doing is the same thing that I've done to every keychain that I've ever done on here. I just take and loop through the, take that clear stretchy string and just loop it through the do a hook loop through, and then I go back through and just kind of do a little knot through there. And then what I was doing here is I was putting this through that keychain loop. So I was attaching it to that, the top of that key, the little hook. So I didn't want it to be on the jump rings, because I have a feeling that like when something gets pulled on those, they could come loose, and so I didn't want, you know, the beads and everything to come loose. So I went ahead and attached it to that little circle of that little clip that is attached to this pom-pom. And then I took the string. I always take the string and pull it back through all of the beads, because I just feel like it just kind of gives you just a one extra like loop around to where, you know, your string can be really taut and, you know, less of an opportunity for it to come loose and, you know, beads everywhere and you lose your keychain. So I always end up tying knots as I go along, and then I pull it through the bottom part, you know, through the little keychain hole, that little acrylic circle there, and then I just tie another knot around that, and then I stick it back up through the beads and tie another knot, you know. So like it's just kind of like a process that I kind of just make sure that we are really securing this string all the way up and down, because once you cut it, the stretch, it can stretch and stretch and stretch. And so if it has more ways to not stretch through, I think that's better. Anyways, that's my philosophy, and it seems to work, but anyways. So I'm taking this Radical from Peachy Olive Glitters, and this was in the box that, the box for March, and it was really a lot of fun. And so I have this alphabet tray of letters, and I did take some epoxy. I did not use UV resin because for me, UV resin, if it gets really thick like this, it just does not cure as well as epoxy, and I just wanted this little letter to come, you know, through as far as being really strong and durable. So I took the epoxy mixed in with that glitter, and I just poured it in each one of these little molds. I was making one for my niece and for her little friend. I just thought it would be fun to do something like this, and I've been dying to do something with these circles and these acrylic blanks, and that's just, it all needed to come together. And when I saw this Radical, I just knew that it was going to match with that color, that pastel kind of color that we had going on in those little circles of the leopard print that I had cut out. So these little eyelet screws. I think that's what they're called. But anyways, they're teeny tiny, and I got a whole bunch. And I think I've already used all the ones that I had, so I had just recently got some new ones, or they're lost somewhere. But anyways, I did clean up the sides just a little bit, just to kind of take out any of the little any sharp edges or anything like that. But I do this, I try to do this within the like first 8 to 12 hours, because the epoxy is still just a tiny bit pliable, and I feel like it just kind of goes in there a little bit better with that screw. You can really screw it in there, get it down in there, and then you can just set it and let it cure, and then it will just cure around that little screw. So it does take just kind of a second for you to kind of get it going in there, but once you it's real simple. These really are not that hard at all, but I do try to do them within a reasonable amount of time after they start to cure, when they've kind of gotten hard, but they're not like way too hard. I did end up putting a couple of the those jump rings on there, just so that I could attach it and make it kind of longer than the other keychain, you know, just to kind of make it sit in the same area as the pom-pom and the leopard print circle that we were making there. So I did kind of extend that out a little bit with a bunch of jump rings. And then that was it. These were so cute. I just loved the the fun colors, the spring colors. I feel like it has a little bit of a vintage feel to it, and those beads are so cute. I did not use the baby shark white beads, but I did use those other colors, and though that vinyl that I had was like rainbowish, pastel rainbowish, so the circles that I had were different colors. So I asked the girls, I'm like, who would want blue, who would want pink, and they decided, and so I put Lacey's with that kind of bluish green there, and then I did Sadie's with that pink, yellow, and green, and I just really thought that all those colors just really came together, and they both kind of wanted the same color pom-pom, so you know, the girls, they get what they want, right? So anyways, this was a lot of fun, and this is something you can definitely do very quickly. You don't necessarily have to add the letter if you don't want. You know, just that and the little pom-pom would be super cute. But if you have little things like that laying around, you got to use them, you know? Anyways, please like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.